Hey guys, hope you and your ants are well. Sorry for the long gap in videos. I think the last one was back in September last year. But so much has changed that I thought I'd do a quick update video. Firstly, we've moved 300 miles from Essex, England to Carmarthen, Wales. I have an ant room now. Well, it's meant to be the utility room, but it's now my ant zone. And my living room window is now the Leafcutters food supply. I've also started working for the first time since I was a teenager. I'm now working at Ant Antics. But is it really work if you're doing something you love? I think I'll need to do a whole separate video on being at Ant Antics. It's so cool there. But for now, I'll just do an update on all the colonies that are with me in our new home. First up, the Leafcutters. They are doing amazing. During moving home, the fungus did take a beating and ended up smaller than a can of Coke. And they stopped taking any leaves that I collected. But Gio from the Ant Antics Discord Leafcutter chat suggested peas. Thankfully, they absolutely loved them and began to bounce back. The cold weather does something to the leaves outside, and my Leafcutters don't like it. So now I have 10 little rose bushes that were only £2 each from the supermarket and 3 raspberry bushes growing indoors. They are of course still taking dried petals and organic broccoli too. I'm really happy with how they're going and have my next Wakooshi pod ready to attach any day now. Next up we have the Messabarus. They are their usual reliable selves. I need to move them really, as the Saturn is held together with sellotape at the moment. They had a taste of freedom when they broke out and demolished my Singularis and Flavus, and now they have pushed the setups to the absolute limits. This is an interesting one though. One of the Messor majors has lived with her gaster hanging on by a thread for ages now, and she just carries on like normal. Next to them we have my other messy Messors. They have slowed down, likely due to the weather, but they are healthy and ridiculously messy. Then next up, my Formica. They are technically still in hibernation, but they're in the process of being walled back up. These were another AntCon colony. I think they're adorable, but they naff leave their test tubes dirty. The Lasius niger tank is a bit depressing at the moment. After their war with the Messors, where they took no prisoners, they bounced back. But during the move I misplaced their light, so all their moss and plants died. They have a light now, and I did have another tank with loads of Antscapes plants in that I've managed to do some cuttings from, and hopefully we can get this Lasius niger tank back to its former glory. These also didn't get a hibernation again this year. They did slow down a bit, but they'll be back to their crazy selves in no time. Next up, the Tetramorium Bicarinatum. Still going, even on a very limited diet of mainly sugars. I think they can feed on air, or they eat their dead and recycle themselves. They are another one that are desperate to get out. Definitely time for an upgrade. Now for one of my favourite species, Camponotus cruentatus. I have 2 of these colonies and adore them both. Both are doing really well. They are growing at different rates, as the one that I've had for years and years and years is the smallest one, and the one that I got from the first AntCon is the bigger one. They're just awesome. The majors are so pretty. Camponotus nicobarensis. What can I say? They just don't bloody stop growing. To be fair, they're absolutely fine, and I think they're a great entertaining beginner species as they're very hardy. But when you have a load of colonies, they're just not top of the list. Up next, my drop tail ants. These are very cute and doing very well. They never fail to swarm food, and they carry back any feeder insects I put in straight back to the nest. It's been very plain sailing with these ladies so far, and I can't remember how big they should get, but I've had them less than a year and the queen is pumping out eggs. They packed out the AFS nest so quick, so I popped them into a Saturn so the overflow live in the test tubes. I need to sort out a better setup for these to show them off. My honey pots, they're doing really well. I've got none of the big ones yet, and they're hard to film in this tub. I can't wait for them to get bigger and get the big marble looking ones, and then I can be able to show them off a bit more. And now for my denti. I was gifted these at last year's AntCon by Stein. They're up to about 10 workers and I'm really enjoying keeping them. They look quite similar to the Ectos, but these ones are obviously doing better. My Ecto Queen, she lays, she gets to cocoons but never gets workers. Renee has been offering me some advice, so hopefully I'm going to put that into action and get her to have some workers so she's not so lonely. Then we've got the Thailandsis. They're still plodding along nicely. And if you want a zero hassle colony with the funniest majors ever, these are definitely ones to get. They are still one of my favourites. We have Polyrhachis dives. Again, when I moved, I misplaced all the lights and their greenery all died. I have chucked in some fake plants, which I'm sure Antscapes will hate, but it brightens it up a little. The colony is doing fine, although they are all nesting in the drainage layer and places I can't film, but other than that, all good. Now, my pogos. I know a few people have these, and I saw them on the website and thought they were cute, but feeding them in person at Ant Antics, I got to see their fun personalities. These ladies are always up for a battle, and I am so glad I got them. Another thing I love about them is when you get new workers, it takes ages for them to get their colour. So a lot of the time you're going to have a mix of almost yellow workers to orange workers, and then their final like deep red colour. I adore them. Natives. I have 2 caught colonies from last year's flights, Myrmica and Lassus niger. Think I'll always have a soft spot for the natives and can't wait for this year's flight because I'll definitely be replacing my lost flavus colony. I miss them, but I'm always going to catch and grow colonies, I think. Now for the Manica rubida. The colony that was absolutely smashing it lost their queen. I'm gutted, it was going so well. I have took some of their brood and added it to the smaller colony that only had about 20 workers. They took them in and are caring for them, so fingers crossed they do well. But if I do the Manica challenge again this year, I think I'll definitely try the EA Whitetongue again. They seem to get on really well in there. Anyway, that's all I'll be updating in this video. While making this video, my leafcutters decided to start putting fungus in the outworld, so I'll be adding that new pod tonight. As always, thanks for watching, take care, stay safe, bye!